What's up, guys? Today we're going to be doing a comparison of 245 hand cannons. Now, both of these have a lot of similarities, but one of them is a steel frame gun and the other one is a polymer frame gun. So when we do this comparison, we can kind of do a comparison of recoil on both of them and kind of get a true test about that. And one of them is more the standard-ish version and the other one is a tactical version. So we're going to try to sort of pretend that they're both tactical versions, but we're going to make it more apples to apples so the round count is the same. But what am I talking about? We're talking about the Sig 227 Equinox versus the almighty FNX 45 Tactical. Love this gun. But when I said you can kind of compare them both the same, because you can get a Tac Ops version in this, which holds 14 rounds in the magazine, and this one is the tactical version and it already has 14 round magazines with it. Now I may eventually buy the Tac Ops version of this with the 14 round magazines, but to make this an apples to the apples test, we're going to imagine that both these guns just hold 10 rounds. That way it's a more apples to apples, since you can actually get a 14 round version of this, and this one already is. We're just going to pretend like they only hold 10 rounds each. So since you can get 14 round magazines for that, neither one of these wins. Because you can actually get the same round count in both of these. Now, sights, this one does have fiber optic sights and it does have tritium in the front sight, so it does glow at night, and then it does have tritium rear sights. Now I do want to say in my other video, if you've not went and watched it yet, of the full review of just this pistol, go check that out. The fiber optic was falling out before I kind of tapped it back in and reset it, and I've not had any problems since then out of this pistol. It's stayed in fine since then, but that was an issue, and sometimes you'll have that issue with fiber optic sights. They can come out and will come out, and you have to replace those. Fiber optic is not expensive for these, but periodically you do have to maintain these a little bit. Now the FNX, it just comes with your suppressor height night sights, and I like that. I prefer like a white dot night sight on all my guns, to tell you the truth about it. Staccatos, some competition guns, I really don't mind the really small fiber optic sight, but something that I'm gonna, possibly defend my home with, such as this FNX or the Sig, I do prefer night sights. So I'm glad they both actually do have night sights. But I do actually prefer these sights a little bit more over the Sig. Now, this is a threaded barrel on the FNX, as we all know. So the Tac Ops, like I said, comes with 14 round magazines, but unfortunately, it does not come with a threaded barrel. Now, you can get a threaded barrel version of the 227 with suppressor height sights. Unfortunately, it don't come with 14 round magazines. So you're not getting the best of both worlds in that category. So I got to give a little bit edge to this, because this comes with 14 round magazines and a threaded barrel. With the Sig, you usually get one or the other and then have to buy the other, which isn't cheap with Sig stuff. Barrels are stupid expensive and magazines are also stupid expensive. So if you buy one or the other and you have to buy the other, just get ready to shell out some cash, because to make it exactly like this, it's going to cost you a little bit of money. All right, so I will go ahead and say the Sig is smoother. You can hear that. The Sig is smoother. I mean it is smoother. They both have decockers. This one does have a safety on it that is a decocker. The Sig only has a decocker, and it is located right here. Now the trigger on the Sig, I was worried about in my other video on how sharp this point is. I never noticed that digging into my hand on the 227. On the 226 versions I have shot with this trigger, I did notice that. Now with the FN, of course, you're not going to have any issue at all right there. The safety's on, that's why nothing's happening. But you're not going to have that issue because you don't have that really sharp edge it turns up there. But let's go ahead and look at both these triggers, and I'll tell you what I think about just dry firing them. So with the FNX, you have this long double action trigger pull. You come back. You never really feel a definitive wall on a double action pull. And I would say that felt probably 9 pounds-ish. Just guessing. I should have brought my gauge, but just a guess. Let's see what the reset's like. That reset is pretty long. Then you have some more take up. Then a very, very light single action pull. Felt more like around 4 pounds. Now, with the Sig, you have just a little bit of take up, which is smoother than the polymer framed FNX. It comes back very comparable, probably 8-ish, 8.5 pounds to the double action pull on this. I guess maybe close to 9. Your reset feels about like the FNX, maybe a little bit shorter. Have that take up, more take up than the FNX. Hit that wall and it breaks. The single action pull on this actually feels a little bit heavier than the FNX does. 1/2 pound, 3/4 pound. It is a little bit noticeable, but the single action trigger pull to me felt a little bit heavier on the Sig than the FNX. There again, you can decide which one you like better as far as aesthetics. I love the 226 models, but I've always been a huge fan of this FNX. And I got rid of this exact pistol one time, traded it to a buddy. I wound up getting it back, and it will never go anywhere again because I hated not having one of these pistols. Now, I do want to tell you there's one thing about the FNX that gets me, and it is this safety right here. I've talked about this in every video I've done about this, so y'all shouldn't be surprised that I bring this up. And a lot of you all have called out and said, oh, I don't have that problem. Well, I do, and this is my video, so I'm gonna tell everybody about it because you may have the same problem I have if you buy one of these. When you shoot it a lot, this safety digs into the bone on my thumb. And I kind of have to readjust my grip a little bit to make that not happen, but it just digs in like right here. And if they would have made this, you can see how that sticks out. If they would have made it more flush, you'd have never had that problem. But they didn't make it more flush. And they used to make like a metal safety for this, but now they don't make them no more, whatever company it was. I can't remember what company made it, but they don't make them no more, and you can't find them, so you can't swap them out. I was going to do that to see if it made it better, but I never could find one, and they quit making them by the time I was looking for it. So just know that is the only fault that I actually have with this pistol. I probably put 600 rounds or more, maybe 800 through this gun, and that is really the only fault I could come up with this firearm right here. Other than the threaded barrel used to come unscrewed, but now I bought an O-ring for it, so we've actually fixed that problem. They do not come with O-rings, so if you buy one of these, purchase an O-ring. I used to have an optic on this. I robbed it for something else. I can't remember what I put it on. So now it's a real apples to apples because we're doing, you know, iron sights to iron sights. But enough talking. I do want to mention one more thing. Sorry. This is way more ambidextrous. You can see right here with the Sig, no controls at all on the left-hand side, and this may make a difference to you if you're left-handed. This one has the safety, has the slide release on this side, and the mag release is also on this side. So it is completely an ambidextrous gun. So if you're left-handed, this right here may very well be more appealing to you because of those features right there. And I can see why, because it is a little bit more of a pain in the hind end to use your weak hand to do stuff. So you might actually like this one better because of that. These two, as of right now, are very equally compared in price. I'm gonna say that. These have been going up since they discontinued them. This gun right here is probably close to $1,000 to $1,100. And if you buy one of these new, you're looking at $1,000 to $1,200, depending on where you get it, why you get it, and when you get it. I will say this, there again, if you buy that FNX, it does come with 14 round magazines and a threaded barrel. Add the cost of whichever one of those you don't get with this. If you buy this exact gun, you want that, you got to buy both. But if you get, like I said, the threaded version or the Tac Ops version, you will have to buy the opposite. Magazines for this is probably around the $65 range a piece. And the threaded barrel, I'm gonna guess, is close to 200 bucks for a Sig, if not more. They're proud of their stuff. Now, let's get on with some shooting. All right, guys, just whatever ammo was in that box I brought, which is a bunch of different kinds of ammo. 227 first, we're gonna do 10 rounds, and then we'll do 10 rounds of the FNX. We're gonna go double action first, and subsequent shots will be single action. All right, guys, so here is the magazine for the FNX. You can see it has that FDE base plate to kind of match this. This has like 4 different colors of FD on it. When I say kind of, it ain't perfect, but it's close. And these are actually 15 rounders. Sorry, I spoke wrong. I thought these were 14 rounders. They're 15 rounders. So they actually do get the nod for magazines because they do have 15. I believe those just have 14 in the tac ops. But again, just whatever ammo was in there. We do have 10 rounds to make it fair. Double action to start with. Let's just see what we think. All right, guys, what do I think? First initial, comparison. We're going to do another 10 rounds here in a minute, and I'll do if I missed anything. I got to be honest with you, recoil felt pretty decent on both of them, but I almost felt like the polymer gun actually had lower recoil. I don't know if that polymer is absorbing that 45 a little more, but it had a little bit lower recoil is what it felt like. You can tell me what it looks like in the comment section, but behind the gun, it actually felt a little bit less recoil, and it could be because that grip is a little bit fatter. May have fit my hand just a little bit better. My accuracy looked a little better with it than it did the Sig there earlier. I definitely like the trigger better on the FNX. That's just me. Maybe I'm being biased because this is my personal gun and this gun is borrowed. Not knocking my cousin's gun at all because it's a great gun. But I bought this for a reason, and I really, really like it. And I've gotten where I've changed my grip a little bit, and that safety really doesn't dig into my hand too much now, which is really nice. So this gun was comfortable to shoot. And with the light recoil, I just can't say enough good things about this. But we're going to do 10 more rounds. I'm actually going to do the FNX first and then the Sig to see if that changes my mind on anything. And then we'll probably do an accuracy test and see which one comes out better accuracy wise. Then we'll back this bad boy out to 40 yards and see which one does better at distance. All right, guys, like I said, FNX up first, 10 rounds. I will say this, the magazines on the FNXs are a little bit harder to hit. They're not very beveled, so they are a little bit harder to hit than the Sig is. So that is one difference that I do want to throw out there to you guys. That is a little bit different, a little bit easier, not crazy difficult with the FNX, but is a little bit easier with the Sig. All right, 227, 10 rounds, double action first. All right, guys, you notice right there the 227 didn't lock back. Now, I don't know if that's my fault or the magazine's fault, because when I was shooting this gun a minute ago or in the other video, the magazine wasn't working like that. You can see me rack the slide. It wasn't holding the slide back. It wasn't locking it back. The other magazine does. I actually had one malfunction with that magazine before too, and I've not had a malfunction since. But when I was shooting it and I made sure not to hit that slide lock lever, it did lock it back when I was shooting that magazine before. When I was shooting it, but it will not lock it back when I just hand rack it. So I'm not sure if that's the case. I've never had a malfunction out of this gun with any magazines. Just wanted to throw that out there. I will say this, the reset on the Sig when shooting it definitely is shorter. When I was dry firing them, I didn't notice as much, but it is definitely shorter on the Sig when shooting it, and it's actually noticeable. Both these guns are very comfortable to shoot. I still stick with the fact that I feel like this FNX recoils a little bit less than the 227. Neither one of them has crazy recoil, but I feel like the FNX is just a little better. And I definitely want to say, when shooting this gun, I definitely prefer the sights of the FNX over the sights of the 227. Now, if you get the TAC Ops version or probably the suppressor height sights, they're probably going to have the same 3-dot sight system, probably with the white rings around them. Or you can swap these out if you get one of the normal version that comes with or the Equinox that comes with the fiber optic, but that's easily changeable. But with these two pistols, I do want to say I do prefer the 3-dot white outlined night sights better than the fiber optic. Just my 2 cents. But I do prefer that a little bit more. All right, so let's throw up a shoot and see and see what kind of accuracy we get out of both these. All right, guys, 5 rounds of just miscellaneous, you know, full metal jacket stuff. I do want to say that target is about had it when I've been shooting 45 through it. There's not a lot left to stick shooting C's through. But 5 rounds, we're going to take it slow. We're going to do it from single action only. And hopefully this is better than it was in the last video when I was shooting this. 10 yards. I started to cut that off, but I realized we don't do that on here. I don't want y'all to think I actually do something different, because I actually must have shot low on one of these. I had 4 shots right here. This is actually probably better accuracy than I had when I tested the gun in that last video, but I still threw one somewhere. I don't know where it went. I'm sure it didn't go through one of these holes, because it doesn't look like this one may have been split right there. You can see right here, maybe it went through that hole. Maybe it went through that hole right there, because there is a split over here and the rest of them don't have that. So 2 of them, mine went through that hole. It does kind of look like it. 1 here and then 2 up here. All right, time for the FNX. All right, guys, same scenario, just whatever's in the box. 5 rounds, 10 yards. See what we got. Single action only. I rushed that last shot. I was getting a little cocky. I rushed it. But it is what it is. There is 2 in one of these bullet holes. This was the shot I rushed. 2 went in that. I seen them both hit. 1 hit the bullseye. That was my first one. Should have quit on it. And then 1 right there. So these right here are pretty close. A little high left. This one's a little low. That's the one I actually rushed a little bit on that last shot. Didn't take my time. But definitely do better accuracy with the FNX. That FNX just shoots great, and I still stand by the fact I feel like it has lower recoil. So let me put 10 rounds in both these. We're going to take them back to 40 yards and see how we do on this steel plate that's a little bit smaller than a human torso. A lot of you say, why do you do 40 yards? Well, there was an instance in a mall where there was an active you-know-what, and some hero citizen from 40 yards stopped that person. And it is what it is. Sometimes you just never know what yardage you're going to need to be able to hit if you're ever in that situation. God help us. I hope none of us ever are. But if we are, you just don't know where or how far you're going to be. Probably not going to happen that far, but it has. All right, guys, first up is the 227, 40 yards. Let's hope we do better than we did when we did this earlier in the video or the last video. But let's see what we can do. All right, guys, if I counted right, that was 3. So I don't shoot this gun the best. Maybe I should rethink about buying a TAC Ops version, because I'm just not doing it today with this gun. Maybe I would do better with one of those. Maybe this grip just ain't aligning with me. It seems to point well. I'm just not hitting good with it. But now, next up is the FNX. See how we do with it. All right, guys, FNX, 40 yards, same ammo. I made sure we even had the same ammo. This is just Winchester full metal jacket. This is why I run through both of them. So let's see how we do with it. Hopefully we can do a little bit better. Yeah, I think we did a little bit better. I think that was 9 out of 10. I'm not sure. I think I missed that one, but sometimes my ear pro cuts out and I can't hear. You all will be able to tell, but I'm pretty sure I missed one of those shots. But still, 9 out of 10 with iron sights. This gun is just amazing. So let me take you back up here. We'll finish this video and I'll give you my final thoughts. All right, guys, so what are my final thoughts? We have the Sig 227 and we have the FNX 45 Tactical. Now, for me, if I had to choose just one of these guns, it's the FNX 45 Tactical all day long. Not knocking the 227, it is a great gun, but I shoot this way better. I don't know if you will, your hands may be different than mine, they're smaller, larger, whatever it may be. This gun may fit your hand better, you may be more accurate with it. But for me, in my opinion, it is this gun all day long. I shoot it better. It felt like the recoil was a little bit better than the 227 was. The trigger on this feels really close to this. This may have a little bit better trigger, but I really like the trigger on this gun. The trigger control is really good with this gun whenever I shoot it. And I just think for the money, you get a little bit more. The guns as they are really close in the same price range. But to make this, even if you get the Tac Ops version or the threaded barrel version into this, you're going to spend more money. So you're going to have a few $100 probably more in the 227 than you will in this at the end of the day. Mine came with 3 magazines, but I believe now they only come with 2 magazines in the FNX. I hate that they quit doing that because the FM magazines really aren't cheap either. But I think someone told me that they only started coming with 2 magazines now. So I'm sorry about that, but these used to come with 3, but now you just get 2. But still, even with that, I still think no matter which version of this you buy, you would have more money in it before you ever got it to where this one looks like right now. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Out of these 2 guns, which one would you choose and why? I appreciate you guys watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. I love you guys. We'll see you next time.